When I look at this problem, I see that it's an equation with an equal sign and the directions say solve. So I'm supposed to find any value that makes the equation true if I substitute it for the variable x. Since this is an equation, I can multiply both sides by any expression I choose. And since there are fractions in this equation, it would make sense for that expression to be the lowest common denominator, or LCD. When I find the LCD, I need to include any factor that's part of an individual denominator. Now, the first denominator is x plus 5. Since that's a plus, the x and the 5 are not factors. Factors are things that are multiplied together. So I have to consider the whole denominator to be a factor. And in fact, I can imagine both denominators being inside of parentheses, like this. So when I find my LCD, I'm going to have to multiply both sets of parentheses together. So I'm going to get x plus 5 times x minus 5. And I'm going to multiply both sides by that LCD. So I'm going to get x plus 5 times x minus 5 on the left. And I'm going to write that over 1 to make it a fraction. I'm going to copy this so I don't have to write it again on the other side. So I'm going to take that and multiply by 5 over x plus 5. I'm going to copy that here. And I'm going to multiply then by 4 over x minus 5. Now we get some things canceling out. On the left-hand side, the x plus 5s are going to cancel. I really get little 1s from each of those. And then on the right-hand side, my x minus 5s will cancel, and I'll get little 1s again. And so I'm left with just 5 times x minus 5 on the left, and 4 times x plus 5 on the right. So now I'm going to have to distribute in both of those cases. So I'll get 5x minus 25, 5 times 5, and then 4x plus 20, 4 times 5. I need to get my variables on only one side. My only variable here is x, so I could either subtract 5x from both sides or 4x from both sides. I'll choose to do 4x, I guess. So I'll subtract 4x from both sides of the equation. That will leave me with just 1x on the left. So we get x minus 25 equals 20. And then I'll add 25 to both sides to get x by itself. And that will leave me with x equals 45. We do need to check to make sure that this doesn't make any denominator equal to 0. But if I plug 45 into the first denominator, 45 plus 5 is 50, that's not 0. And the second denominator, 45 minus 5, is not 0. So, assuming I haven't made any mistakes, my solution would be x equals 45.